Okay, Beruchim Habayim B'Shem Hashem. It is great to see everyone. You know, as a quick introduction to the parasha we are going to talk about today, Be'ezrat Hashem, I want to share with you something that some of us may be experienced in life, in many different ways, shapes and forms. I'm going to use the example from my practice. You know, there are, in my practice in marriage counseling and relationship coaching, there are times that people can come. I had this lady not too long ago. She comes, you can see on her face that she is extremely overwhelmed with what's happening in the relationship, in marriage. You know, back in the days, they told us that marriage is a wonderful idea. Today, it changed a little bit. But she comes, and when you look at her face, you understand that something is going to pop up soon. And she looked at me straight to my face and she said, "I'm done. That's all. I'm done. Rabbi, it's over. I cannot continue one more day with this. I want out." So I looked at her and I said, "Okay, you want out? Then get out. What's the problem?" By the way, I never suggest to people to get out. I never suggest people to get married, nor to get out. But sometimes I play. So I said, "Then get out. What's the problem? It's done. You're done. It's over. Get out." Yeah, it's not. Listen, it's not easy as you think. Oh, you don't want to get out? No, I do. But you get into the conversation, yes, I do, yes, I don't, until you get to the point that she asked me the obvious question that many of us experience in many different domains in life. She looked at me and she said, "I want out. But how do I know that this is the right decision? How do I know that really enough is enough and there is no way for the situation to be corrected? You can't repair it. How do I know for sure that this is the real time to get out?" I think this question of how do we know that whatever situation we are in that we don't like, we stop and we say it's unfixable, there's no way to fix it, there's nothing you can do about it, I'm out. You open a business, you have a company, and the company at the beginning, whatever, makes it and succeeded and it's all beautiful. Few months, few years later, you start to see it's going down and down and down and down and down, and you always have hopes. How do you know? What is the turning point that you say, enough is over? There's no way I will continue doing this. In Hebrew we say, sugrim abasta. There is a point, sugrim et abasta. There is a point that you say, zeu. It happens in businesses, it happens in partnership. People have partners, people have workers. You have a worker in your office that you try to educate and you try to train and you try to hope they're going to do well, they're going to do well, they're going to do well, and they don't, and they don't, and they don't, and you reach the point not out of anger. I'm talking about an intelligent decision. Enough is enough. Sir, ma'am, I'm sorry, it's not working. Please step out. At what point in life, in any area, in any relationship with anybody in the world, we get to the point that we say, enough is enough, and there's nothing to do to continue? And I'm talking about, again, an intelligent decision, not as an emotional call for the moment because you're angry. Why this is important? This is important because what's happening in the parasha we read today, we're going to read Be'ezrat Hashem this Shabbat, it's a very, very rare situation where HaKadosh Baruch Hu created, last week's parasha, We were all over happiness and joy and creation and beautiful world. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created beautiful, nice stories. But in the very end of the parasha, it's pretty depressing. Anybody who reads Parashat Bereshit, at the very beginning it sounds beautiful. There are some stories not too easy. But in the end of it, it doesn't seem, if you read it, like carefully and you pay attention to the words, it's pretty depressing. The entire creation came to the point that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Vayar Hashem, end of Parashat Bereshit. Listen to the words, please. Ki rabba ra'at ha'adam ba'aretz, v'chol yetzer mahshevot libo, rak ra kol hayom. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created a business called world. 1656 years later, he started to check inventory of the business to see the P&L of the business, and he realized that the business is in a deep bankruptcy. Listen to the words. Vayar Hashem ki rabba ra'at ha'adam. It's not that the evil of a person is there. Rabba, it's a lot. Kama. V'chol yetzer mahshevot. Everything a human being think about. You look at human beings in the world, you turn around, right to left, you see people. All people think about is bad. Rak ra, not ra. Rak ra. How often? Kol hayom. How depressing. You create a world over 1600 years. You create thousands and millions of people, and you look on your beautiful creation, and you become depressed. It's a bad humanity. It's a bad society. And it reached the point that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, Vaynahem Hashem ki asa et ha'adam ba'aretz. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for whatever that means metaphorically or literally speaking, HaKadosh Baruch Hu regretted creating the world. Not us, not our business, not our marriage, not our parenting, not our partners, co-workers. The entire universe ended up bad, really bad. Vayit'atzev libo, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu became sorry for himself in his heart. Bad people, bad humanity. If you stand up today in Los Angeles and you start to preach to people, imagine a rabbi standing up in Bet HaKnesset and say, Rabotai Kahal Kadosh, let me tell you, when I look at you, you are so bad people. You're all evil. There's nothing in your mind, just bad, just evil. How long? All day. Nothing good. There's nothing good about you. How long do you think this person will last? But this is real. Kadosh Baruch Hu b'chvodo b'atzmo says, Vaynahem Hashem ki asa et ha'adam ba'aretz. Haval שעשיתי את זה. ויתעצב אל ליבו, מסכן, הוא כאב לו. But that was not a theory. Kadosh Baruch Hu came up with a conclusion. ויאמר השם, אמחה את האדם אשר בראתי מעל פני האדמה, מאדם עד בהמה, עד רמס ועד עוף השמיים, כי ניחמתי, כי עשיתים. You can take this entire pasuk and sum it up in 3 words. Kadosh Baruch Hu looked at the world and he said, Shabbat Shalom umevorach. Shalom alaikum. Shabbat Shalom. This world is over. And there's nothing you can do about it. Until the pasuk ended up in Parashat Bereshit, V'noach matza chen b'einei Hashem. There was one guy, one hope. Noach matza chen b'einei Hashem. But you see, the overall picture is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu reached the point, HaKadosh Baruch Hu El Rachum V'Hanun, Erech Apayim V'Rav Chesed V'Emet. Borei Olam is all kindness. Borei Olam is all love. Borei Olam is all about care and giving to us. and he reached the point, there is nothing we can do about it. Shabbat Shalom. This world should end. The business is over. Rabbi, I'm done. There's nothing I can do about it. This is not a human being saying it's Borei Olam. But this is the end of last week's parasha. But this week's parasha, the Torah describes the ceremony, the entire story of what's happening in Noah. And look how it starts. We're going to go on a general background of the parasha in a very, very short way. But the point that I would like to talk about is a little controversial. It's a little dangerous, a little sensitive. It is a concept that it's easy maybe to hear, a little harder to agree or to disagree, much more difficult to comprehend and inhale and make it our beliefs, let alone practice it. Let alone practice it. Because it's a little bit a paradigm shift on a concept we know for so many years in a specific way. We have the definition and the interpretation of this term, I think, in the upside down directions. And if we can shift our practice on this term, there is a possibility that we can start to get the entire purpose and meaning of life. אלה תולדות נוח. נוח איש צדיק, שכפרה עליו צדיק. איש צדיק, תמים, היה בדורותיו, את האלוהים התהלך נוח. So the Torah tells us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu complimented Noah for being very, very unique human being, very special human being in an evil environment, in an evil world. The entire world around him was an evil world, and he was exception to the rule, and he was tzaddik, tamim haya bedorotav, et haElohim italech Noach. Now, when the Torah said tzaddik, tamim haya bedorotav, it rings a bell to some of the commentaries on the Torah. Not everybody like the additional word, bedorotav. It's like you're going to your wife after 15 years of marriage and you tell her, you look beautiful today. If you say you look beautiful and you stop right there, we call it less is more. When you say you look beautiful today, the word today would take the entire compliment and turn it into a horrific comment. Noach is tzaddik, tamim haya. No, bedorotav. Bedorotav meaning in his generation. It's very famous. Rashi brings from the Midrash. מה זה bedorotav? יש מרבותינו דורשים אותו לשבח, יש מרבותינו דורשים אותו לגנאי. Meaning to say, some of the Hachamim are looking at the word bedorotav in a compliment, positive way, and some look at it in a negative way. Some say, in a positive way, tzaddik haya bedorotav, even in an evil generation, Noah was able to live life in a righteous way. So, could you imagine what kind of level of righteousness Noah would achieve if he would live in Avraham Avinu's generation? Somebody said, there is a person in Los Angeles who comes to Bet HaKnesset, Shaharit Mincha and Arvit. Wow, every day, Shaharit Mincha and Arvit. That's impressive. That's really beautiful. Hazak u'baruch. And you tell this guy, if you would do it here in Los Angeles with all the temptations and the whole environment, the whole society here, how much more so you would do in Yerushalayim Eretz Kodesh? You would go for Netzach Hamma, Tikkun Le'at, Tikkun Rachel. You're going to go to Tikkun Hatzot, Kotel HaMa'aravi, Netzach Hamma. You're going to be much more because you have the influence of righteous people around you. And Noah, bedorotav, in relationship, in conjunction with his generation, he was tzaddik. Could you imagine the Dor shel Avraham Avinu? But that's the positive way. Yesh merabotenu dorshim oto lignai. There are some of the Hachamim that are interpreting the word bedorotav in not quite. And when you look and you pay attention to the words, the way it says it, it's really painful. יש שדורשים אותו לגנאי. לפי דורו היה צדיק. In comparison to his generation, Noah considered צדיק. בסדום הוא צדיק. In comparison to his generation. And this is where the painful words coming up. ואילו היה בדורו של אברהם אבינו. But if Noah would have been living in the generation of אברהם אבינו, then what? לא כתוב לא היה נחשב צדיק. It doesn't say it wouldn't be a צדיק. לא היה נחשב לכלום. In Yiddish, וואלו. וואלו, כלום. לא היה נחשב לכלום. הקדוש ברוך הוא calls him, נוח איש צדיק, תמים היה בדורותיו, and those חכמים are saying, בדורותיו הוא צדיק, but if he would be living in אברהם אבינו generation, he would be absolutely nothing. And we know שנוח was asked by הקדוש ברוך הוא, ויאמר אלוקים לנוח, asked by הקדוש ברוך הוא, to build the טבע. ויאמר אלוקים לנוח, קץ כל בשר בא לפניי, קץ כל בשר בא לפניי means again, שבת שלום ומבורך. The end of the world has arrived. כי מלאה הארץ חמס מפניהם, והנני משחיתם את הארץ. The world is full of חמס. מה זה חמס? כעס? לא. Hamas, it's a very interesting concept, by the way. Hamas is a form of stealing.
Gazlan.
But not Gazlan. There are three legal terms in stealing. One called Ganav. What is Ganav? Ganav is a person who steals at night. Not necessarily at night, but Ganav is a person that steals in a hidden way. Ganav considered in halakha as a person who fears people and does not fear God. Because he's stealing in a quiet way. ומפחד מבני אדם, לא מפחד מאלוקים. זה גנב. Gazlan is another level, another term, another form of stealing. Gazlan לא מפחד, לא מאללה ולא מעבדallah. לא מפחד, he does not fear God nor people. Gazlan takes out a gun to your head, give me the money now. That's a Gazlan. לא מפחד מאף אחד. So יש גנב, יש גזלן. גנב in a quiet way, גזלן to your face. But there is a third one called Hamsan. מה זה Hamsan? Hamsan is a really, really rare and weird description of what he does.
Damage.
Huh?
He does damage.
No. Hamsan comes to a person. Imagine yourself being in your car. And a Hamsan comes to you with a gun and say, get out of your car. And he wants to take your car. Now you look at him and you say, come on, Dakhilak, this is a very expensive car. I worked all my life to buy this car. You know what? I said, shh, what's your problem? What do you mean, what's my problem? It's a very expensive car. It's a $50,000 car. Hamsan said, shh, relax. He pulled out $50,000. It's a hack. Here's the money. Get out. But I don't want to sell the car. I didn't ask you if you want to sell the car or not. Hamsan pays for what he steals. Mdrob. Which one do you think is worse? Ganav, Gazlan, or Hamsan?
Gazlan.
Hamsan. Because Hamsan has no benefit. Hamsan has no benefit. He pays for what he steals. He takes off your watch. And he said, you pay $20,000 on your watch. Here, $20,000. Tavita Shalom. Give me your watch. He takes it away from, but he pays for it. So why are you stealing? It's evil for the sake of evil. To do bad without any benefit. If somebody goes to, God forbid, he steals $1 million from a bank or from a person, and you look at him and you say, why did you do this? That's not nice. Is he evil for stealing $1 million? Most definitely.
Yes.
But do you understand him? You understand why he did this? He did it for $1 million. You can look at him and say, why did you do this? What do you mean? $1 million I cannot make in 50 generations. Yeah, it's not nice. It's bad. But you really think I'm stupid? I might be evil, but not stupid. I needed $1 million. I did it. You understand him. You don't like what he did. It's against the law. We're not advocating it. But you understand. He got benefit from it. But Hamsan, what benefit did you get? Nothing. You pay for what you steal. This is where evil reach the highest degree of evil. The highest degree of evil is when you derive no benefit whatsoever. You get nothing from it. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Noah, Hamas were the people who are stealing and get no benefit from it. But Hachamim said that there was another level of stealing there in the Hamas. What was the other level of stealing? You know, we're Israelis, so we can relate to this a little easier. Do you know that there are people who go to a supermarket and there are some, I don't even know how to say, as one word. Nuts? Nuts פיצוחים? You go to the supermarket, there are people who can eat a whole lunch for free. They go, they take a little almond and a little cashew and a little bit. He's just checking it. Oh, before I buy, he can justify it, right? He can explain that. He can say, look, I cannot buy before I taste. Maybe it's not fresh. So he's tasting a little bit, tasting a little bit, tasting a little bit. So some people even bring their own families, just let's have a good time. And before you know it, there are no nuts anymore. The guy can't say anything because you just tasted just a little bit. So you steal a little bit and more, a little bit, until the point the poor guy who is selling it has no merchandise anymore to sell. And he cannot claim anything. He cannot fight you. He cannot sue you. What are you going to sue you? What, did you try the one apple? One strawberry? Badakti. I just check it. In Israel, they used to be, people in our age, remember that, in the markets in Israel, there were times that they used to sell fruits, bili livhor. Do you remember those days? Bili livhor. You cannot choose. You cannot choose. And I will never forget, I went one with my grandmother, Aliyah Shalom, and she loved to benefit from the law through manipulating the law. So she went, I was with her. And she said, meaning, when you buy it bili livhor without choosing, it's cheaper. It's cheaper because it includes all kinds of things you would never buy. So I remember בשוק בחיפה. So she went to the guy and she said, אני יכולה לבחור? הוא אמר כן, בכנסת. בכנסת לא פה. There are people who can go and not in this situation, but you can go and steal and have no benefit, steal nothing. So הקדוש ברוך הוא told נוח, קץ כל בשר בלבן, כי מלאה הארץ חמס מפניהם. I'm done with them. על מה? What are you so upset about them? And that was the generation שהיו עובדי עבודה זרה, גילוי עריות, שפיכות דמים, terrible generation, terrible society. But what was the point that הקדוש ברוך הוא said enough is enough? What was the point? What was the main cause that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, קץ כל בשר בא לפניי והנני משחיתם את הארץ, said Rashi HaKadosh and all the commentaries on the Torah, לא נחתם גזר דינם אלא על הגזל. The reason why HaKadosh Baruch Hu destroyed the world, it was because they were stealing. גזל. There is no one human being on the planet Earth that is not lifting up his eyebrows and saying, wait a second. I know Gezel is not nice. I know Gezel it's bad. I know it's illegal. It's inappropriate. It's pretty clear that it's not a big mitzvah to go out and steal something that does not belong to you. Got it. But ריבונו של עולם, עבודה זרה, גילוי עריות, שפיכות דמים, you don't destroy the world. גזל, and stealing, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I had enough. Enough is enough. There is nothing else I can do to keep this world running. This world deserves to be destroyed. Lama al gezel. Why? But if you go further a little bit, it's pretty interesting. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Noah to build a teva. To build a teva for what purpose? In a simple meaning of the psukim. What's the purpose?
To save all.
To save himself and the animals. Save himself, his wife, Naama, and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, Yefet, and their wives. That was the purpose.
And the animals.
And the animals. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu told it, build an ark, tivne teva. How long was Noah build the teva? How long did it take for Noah to build the teva? 120 years. 120 years took for Noah to build the teva. Poor guy. Be'emet, sometimes, I gotta tell you, sometimes I feel so bad for those generations, because to build such a teva, there are some builders here, to build such a teva, today, with the technology that we have, it's between 3 to 3.5 days.
Avi do it in 1 day.
In 1 day, Avi, right? It's nothing. It's really nothing. But for Noah, it took 120 years, which, by the way, this is not simple. When he needed to get the wood to build a teva, he didn't go to Home Depot back in the days. So he had to plant trees and wait for them. He's waiting for the trees to grow. Then he had to chop them, and then he had to make them, and then plant some more, so you can have more. 120 years, mashallah. But the purpose of building it 120 years was not just because it took so long to build. To build it 120 years served, or at least supposed to serve, for another purpose. What was the other purpose? The other purpose was that building the ark, building the teva, was for Noah his official outreach program. Outreach program means Noah's supposed to build a teva. This is the vision that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had for Noah. You sit down and you build a teva day in and day out for 120 years. What's going to happen? People will go around, people will go by, and they're going to say, hey Noah, Saud, what do you do? Why are you doing this? So I'm building an ark. Why are you building an ark? Oh, because there is a Mabul coming up. A Mabul, what for? Why? So Noah is supposed to start outreach program, Hidabrut, Arachim, whatever you want to call it, to start to bring people close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for 120 years. He needed to bring people to do Teshuvah for 120 years program. Morei ve'Rabotai, 120 years program. How many people did Noah succeeded bringing back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? 0. How is it possible? What was so bad in his program? I don't want to predict this, but 120 years work, I will make President Obama the chief rabbi of Israel. 120 years of work and people, he can't succeed in one, not even one. What happened? And the other point that we need to understand is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu asked him to do the teva and to bring all the animals there because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted simply to save them. Ribono shel olam, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to save them, there are 7.5 million ways for Borei Olam to save them. What do you need a teva? HaKadosh Baruch Hu can simply put Noah in a penthouse in the Waldorf Astoria Hotel and just make sure over there's no mabul. And every animal in wherever the location of the animal was, this animal will stay. Big deal. I don't want to go into this, but that's the way the Gideon tested the Kadosh Baruch Hu to see if it's really a Kadosh Baruch Hu speaking to him. He said, you're going to bring the dew, just not in this place, or only in this place. He tested back and forth. Kadosh Baruch Hu can do anything. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to save Noah, save Noah, his wife, save Noah's family. We don't need to give Borei Olam creative ideas on how to do it. But there are so many different ways to do it. Why Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted him to do Teva? For this Mabul. And I don't want to go into this because I know we all had an amazing kindergarten teachers that told us what was the story in the Teva, with the animals, how the animals showed up. And now you need to take care of the elephant and the tiger and the lions and the frogs and all kinds of animals. The Ramban, on the spot right here, the Ramban said, look, if you really want to pay attention to how much space was in the Teva and how this space was sufficient space to cover all the animals and all the food, could you imagine? Only imagine the food that a tiger eats for a year. You need a whole Walmart place, maybe more, for a year. So the Ramban said to fit all the animals in the Teva and to fit all their food there and to feed them with all of this, it was a complete miracle. The Teva was a complete miracle structure around the Mabul. But nevertheless, we need to try to understand, Rabbotai, a few important points. Point number one, that there is no question that we cannot go by the parasha without breaking our head for, is HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that the world should get to its end. About what? For what? For Gezel. What's so special about Gezel? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided for Gezel, the world has no rights to exist anymore. And then, how come Noah was unable to bring close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Nobody. And what was the entire point of saving Noah and his family and the animals through the structure of the Teva? There are so many other ways to do it. There are many other topics to discuss in the parasha, but I would like to focus on those because there is a fundamental term that I would like to entertain with you tonight, and to see if we can understand what's happening here. The term, Rabbotai, that I'm talking about, it's called Hesed. Hesed. מה זה חסד? חסד זה kindness. True? Now, if you have to describe Hesed, if you want to teach a child, today I'm going to teach you Hesed. I'm going to teach you kindness. What is kindness? What is Hesed? If anybody asks you to define and to describe what Hesed is all about, what do you say? What is Hesed? ואהבת לרעך כמוך. מה זה חסד? Translate it into a very, very simple description that we know it. Yeah, I'm going to try to sum it up this way. You tell me if it resonates with you. I have something you don't. You need it. I'll give it to you. Hesed means I have. You don't. I'll give it to you. And you need it. I'll give it to you. Baruch Hashem, I'm blessed. I've got it. And I have a very soft heart. I'll give it to you. I'm a nice person. Now, if you ask people, why do you believe Hesed is so important? what is the purpose of Hesed? Why is it so important to do Hesed, to be kind? למה זה חשוב? Why this is important? Most people will tell you, what kind of an idiotic question is that? It's a stupid question. What do you mean, why it's important? There are people in this world, they don't have. And you are blessed, you have more than you need. Do you know how beautiful it is to live in society? Do you know how beautiful it is to live in the environment that people have a good, soft heart to help each other? It's a healthy society. It's a healthy world. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to raise kids. It's a great place to be around. I'm kind. Hesed is so great. My heart is broken. My heart is bleeding to see you suffer. I see that you don't have it. You have kids and they don't have anything. Lama lo, I have. Tfaddal. And by the way, it doesn't have to do with money necessarily. It can be in anything. Hesed can be anything. Hesed can be as simple as you ask somebody, how are you doing? And you actually mean the question and care for the answer. Being Baal Hesed. There are many people in the world, when they see other people in any kind of needs, they become religious on the spot. What do I mean by that? They see somebody that have a need, and they go to him and they say, don't worry, Hashem Yazo. Don't worry, Hashem Yazo, but I'm in pain, I'm suffering, I'm going through a hard time. In this area, in that area, in this domain, in that department of my life, life is difficult, I'm suffering, I'm going through a hard time. Don't worry, Hashem Yazo. Akol letova. All Hashem does is for good. Just get away from my life. Just deal with this by yourself. I'm going to support you by sending God your way, and that's the whole support I'm willing to give to you. That's the kind of hesed sometimes we provide. When we ask somebody, how are you doing? How much truly and honestly we care? How much do we mean the question? How much do we care for the answer? And you can try it. And you can try to tell people, how am I doing? Let me tell you. This is what I'm going through. This is some difficult time. My son is like this. My daughter is like this. I'm having a hard time. And this is that. I went to the doctor yesterday. Sir, I'm sorry. I apologize. I didn't mean that. I have a meeting to go to. I didn't mean to get your storyline right now. Put it on Facebook and hopefully I might read it. We feel in the world that Hesed is a relationship between a giver and a receiver. We feel quite often that Hesed is when I see what you're lacking and I have a good heart and I will give you. It's I am the one that gives you my time, my patience, my energy, my money, whatever that is. Hesed is a relationship between two people, the one who gives and the one who gets. And because people believe this is the relationship between these two people, a lot of people are creating all kind of judgmental calculations on the kind of relationship we have. For example, many of us, when we do kindness to someone, we anticipate to have some kind of what? Return? Appreciation? You need to appreciate what I do for you because I did for you. So you need to appreciate. Do you know how many times we say, I'm not going to give this person nothing because he doesn't appreciate it anyways? So we conditioned our hesed with the appreciation payment by the other person. Sometimes it gets even further and it gets bad and it gets terrible. Especially for those who knows some psukim from Tehillim. I don't know how he can be so bad to me after all I did for him. Me'ashpot yarim evyon. I pulled him up from the garbage place. When he came to America, he was nothing. He was nobody. I made him who he is. And look how he treats me. And we love to judge and to measure our relationship with someone we gave to. Because I gave you. So now we have a relationship between you and me. I don't expect you to pay me back, but at least say thank you, at least appreciate it, because you need to appreciate me. I've done it for you. We take Hesed this way. We take Hesed as a very nice and merciful act for people who have a good heart. Yeah, without, quite honestly, in the terminology of halakha in the Jewish world, there are two terms of Hesed. There is Hesed and Hesed shel Emet. What's the difference? Hesed is when you do Hesed with someone who is alive. Hesed shel Emet is when you do it to someone who already died. Hesed shel Emet usually is going to a funeral or doing something, paying attribute of respect and kavod to someone who already passed away. Now, why this one called Hesed shel Emet? Not because you're kind enough to give up the return, but simply because the reality is that even if you wish for a return, there is nobody to give it to you back. Shlama walach, he's not here. There's nothing you can do about it. So this is how the world takes Hesed. Hesed is a relationship between two people. One is the helper and one who is receiving the kind of help. But moreover, Rabotai, it could very be that this is a very, very wrong way to understand the fundamental definition of the distinction of Hesed, of kindness. To understand Hesed, what I would like to suggest is a very, very important point that when we pay attention to it, it can really shift lives from wherever we are to a completely different place, to a much better place. Here is how it works. When you look at any human being on the planet Earth, when you try to describe a human being, you look at the person. Every person that you look at is created by two separate, conflicted forces. There is the physical force, Adam Humri, Adam Gashmi, and we have the spiritual being of a person, the Adam, the spiritual part of a human being. The physical part of the human being cannot stand the spiritual part. He's not interested to converse with him. He is not interested in communicating, in negotiating anything. As far as the materialistic, the homer of the person, 6 o'clock in the morning is not a debate, Beta Knesset or pillow. Pillow wins. There's nothing to talk about. And as far as the spiritual part, there is no question that the neshama of the person couldn't care less about anything that has to do in this materialistic world. You cannot bribe the neshama with any materialistic thing. That's, by the way, one of the biggest reasons why the vast majority of people in the world are pursuing happiness, and they will never get it. They're pursuing happiness in so many different ways, and the more they will pursue it, the less chance they're going to get it. Why? Because they're putting the condition of happiness with the materialistic force. When I will have a beautiful house, I will be happy. When I will have a great car, I will be happy. When I will have a deep bank account, I will be happy. How much truth there is in it? Absolutely zero. Yes, true. When you have all kinds of materialistic things, it might make your life a little bit more comfort, a little easier, but forget about happiness. Because happiness, it's a spiritual state. Happiness, it's a spiritual space. It's a state of completion and peaceful, of joy, when you need nothing. Happiness will never be rich. It's like you trying to buy shoes in Ralph's. They don't sell it there. It's like trying to speak to a Moroccan guy in a Chinese language. Those two languages do not communicate. Happiness is a spiritual state. And the materialistic world and the spiritual world will never communicate. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam in this world with those two conflicted forces. I'm going to say it, although I'm going to have to try to be a little careful, but I'm going to say it the way it is. When a person makes his main life the materialistic world, he can reach the point to create a Holocaust. Humanity, by definition, the physical part of the human being, when this is the focus of life, this is all my life is echol ayom ki mahar namut. The only thing I care for is me, and me. The only thing I want is to have more and more and more. When I am the center of this universe, I can be the worst animal you could ever imagine exist in the world. A human being can be a creature that can create a Holocaust, and it can be a creature to be the world saver. A human being can be Baba Sali on one hand, and Leavdil ben HaKodesh, ben HaTahor, ben HaTameh can be the worst one on the other side. Let's be honest. Is there anything that you can hear that a human being does and you're going to say, I can't believe he did this? I can buy anything from anybody. Anything from anybody. Because a human being is capable of doing worst thing in the world. Anything. A human being can do anything. Just this week, America is celebrating. I have a good time when I watch the president speaking about this. Abdul Bakr al-Baghdadi. In Arabic sounds much better, no? Abdul Bakr Baghdadi is dead. Let's pay attention to this. Do you know there are so many people in America today, especially whatever, I don't want to get into politics, that have a very hard time. How can the president say that he died like a dog? It's a compliment. There is no dog that can be as evil as those people, calling them even people. This is a person, this is a human being. For all those murderers and raping and all of those horrific things that these people practice in life, in the name of God. I'm telling you, comparing him to any animal, it's humiliation to the animal. It's humiliation to the animal. Take him and take a dog. Well, of course take a dog. Well, what's the question? Take a dead dog and not a live animal like this. Yes or no? A human being can really create a world eternity damage. That's a human being. People can be bad. When you look in the pasuk in the Torah that says, "Ki v'yetzer machshavot lev ha'adam rak ra kol hayom," I'm sure if we go to a separate rooms tonight and we take a pen and a piece of paper, we can put some people on the list that is fitting to this description in our eyes. A person that his entire being is the materialistic and it's all about me is an animal. He's going to live life in misery in ways that we cannot even measure. Back to marriage counseling. Did you ever see a marriage conflict between two people that one of them is not complaining about what he is not getting? Forget about the examples, but what is the bottom line? What is the bottom line? What do you want? What is your hard time? My hard time is I have needs, she doesn't do it. I have needs, he doesn't do it. It's all about my needs are not being fulfilled by the other person. Because life is about me. Life is about my needs. Life is about my desires. Life is about my aspirations in the world for joy, happiness, and whatever kind of pleasures I'm searching for. When people live life on a complete physical state, it might be a good idea for them to get some pleasures, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a problem with this, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, that's not what I created the world for. That's not what the mission statement written on the world's creation statement. I did not create the world for you to serve yourself. There is one way that a person can live life, and that is the purpose of the world. And when a person should move from a person to a godly creature. Moving from life is about me to life is about you is moving from the animalistic being to the angelic being and becoming a little God. Because we have to understand, we have a completely optical illusion when we look at people. We look at people in all kinds of eyes and mindsets. But do you know how HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks on every single one of us? How does HaKadosh Baruch Hu call you, Shai? Do you know how? When HaKadosh Baruch Hu is calling you, what does he call you? How does HaKadosh Baruch Hu describe every single one of us?
Son.
מה פתאום? Mini me. Mini me. A person is not an animal that came to the world to eat, to sleep, to work, to die. That's cruel. That's not what we're here for. It's a very fundamental. We're not here. We are gods walking in this world. Little gods walking in this world. B'tselem Elokim asa et ha'adam. Stop lowering yourself. You are God. Act like God. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created people. Vayitzer Hashem Elokim et ha'adam afar min ha'adama vayipah be'apav nishmat ha'im, meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu put his part, Helek Elokam imal, and made human beings into gods. That's why the entire mitzvot ben adam lahavero, that we have to be careful not to haz v'shalom, to hurt somebody. What's the big deal? I hurt you, Shai. What's the big deal? Truth is, if I hurt you, it's really not a big deal. But I hurt you, I actually hurt God. Watch out before you hurt anybody. The worst mistake we make in life is when we think that we are physical creatures.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu created us to be little gods. ותחסרהו מעט מאלוקים, וכבוד והדר תעטרהו, אומר דוד המלך. A person is God just missing a little bit. How does a person turn from an animal to a godly creature? This is the shifting from taker and a giver. That's what it is. Hesed is not a relationship between you and me. Hesed is a relationship between me and myself and turning myself from an animal to God. That's what Hesed is. Hesed is not you and me. When I do Hesed to someone, I am not developing in a relationship with you and me. You are the tool I can become God. Through you, not to you. That's why I cannot care less if you appreciate it or not. I didn't do it for you. The act of chesed, of giving, you have to have somebody to receive. So I'm using you, as the Gemara said. יותר ממה שבעל הבית עושה עם העני, העני עושה עם בעל הבית. What does that mean? Somebody knocks on our door. This is really crazy. Somebody knocks on our door. And we looked at the cameras and we see somebody comes to collect some money for tzedakah. Sometimes we can say, oof, בארץ היינו אומרים, תרמנו. Sometimes we look at it as a burden. It's hard, it's difficult. And then, you're kind enough, you open the door, you give him $1 and you think you conquered the world. I helped him. Rabotai, in reality, somebody knocks on our door, we should put Shabbat clothing on with a tie and start dancing. That's the truth. And open the door and bow down to this guy for giving you the zechut to make your animalistic being and turning it into a godly creature. You need to go to this poor guy, to this poor person, and this needy person, and dance for him and thank him limitlessly until you understand that he did a bigger favor that you could possibly give. Because you didn't give anything to him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not create poor people because he doesn't have enough money to give them. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not create people that have no food because he forgot to feed them. He gave us the opportunity to become godly. When the Torah said, "Lo nehtam gzar dinam ela ala gezel," that means a person who does avodah zarah, gilui arayot, shfichut damim, it's pretty bad. It's terrible. But gezel is a statement that I am here as an animal all for myself. When you are here all for yourself, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, it might be beautiful for you. That was not my purpose of this creation. Shabbat shalom umevorach, you're gone. Olam beli chesed is olam shel behemot. Olam beli chesed, it's an animalistic world. That's not the purpose of the world. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to create more tigers, he will create tigers. He will not create human beings that will be worse than tigers. And when Noah comes for 120 years and he tried to change people, Rabotai, you cannot change someone that all his attention and intention in life is himself. He's deaf. There's nothing you can talk to about. There's nothing you can talk to somebody that his entire life is for himself. He's a deaf human being. But the Kadosh Baruch Hu came to Noah and said, wait a second, I'm going to destroy this world because that was not the purpose of the business. I did not create this world for this. So I'm going to wipe out the world. But the next world that I needed to build has to be built on this concept. So what HaKadosh Baruch Hu does, he take the teva, he told Noah to build the teva, and then bring all the animals inside. Noah, this is your boot camp of kindness. Go take care of the animals. Go take care of the animals. Learn to pay attention what a frog eats, how he eats that, how a tiger eats, at what time he eats, what an elephant eats, how much of it, how often, whether you like the way they eat, you don't like the way they eat. You, your wife, and your kids are going of one full year of boot camp of Hesed. And you give, and you give, and you give, and you give to those who will never give you back. Not only they're not going to give you back, if you miss the hour of the time they need to eat, you will hear from them, and you can complain and be frustrated until as much as you want, and say, Mr. Tiger, I'm working hard, I'm having many people here, relax. How can you hit me after so much I'm doing for you? Talk to the wall. That's Hesed. Hesed is talk to the wall. Hesed is give and give and give and give and give, not from here, but from here. That's what Hesed is all about, and this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. When we ask people to understand they are gods, they need to act like God, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is El, Rahum, Vehanun, Erech Apayim, Verav Hesed. Borei Olam, his entire being is Hesed. Without Hesed, Rabotai, there is nothing in the world to do. The Gemara said, I'm going to do it briefly. The Gemara said a very famous story, and Nahum Ish Gamzo. Nahum Ish Gamzo was one of the Tanaim. The Gemara said that his students came to see him. He was living in a place, in a broken house, that everything there was broken. And they saw him inside the house with no arms, no legs. His eyes were blinded. His eyes were blinded, and his entire body was full of wounds. The Gemara said the students of Nahum Ish Gamzo wanted to save him, and they told him, hey, Hacham, we need to take you out. He said, take my stuff first out before you take me. Because if you take me first, the house will collapse. The only reason why this house is not collapsing yet is because I'm here. The zechut of my existence here, that's why the walls are not collapsing. The moment you take me out, everything will collapse. So haval, hazita, and my stuff. Take my belongings out first, then take me out, and then shikpar ala bayt, shilech bayt. And b'kacha asu. They took him out. They took the stuff out, then they took him out, and everything collapsed. The students of Nahum Ish Gamzo looked at him and they said, Hacham, oy lanu shere'inucha bekach. It's so painful to see you like this. No arms, no legs, your eyes, your entire body. We feel horrible looking at you, seeing you like this. Amar lahem Nahum Ish Gamzo, oy lachem im lo re'ituni bekach. It would be more terrible if you didn't see me like that, because I brought this on myself. I asked for it. Scary. I asked for it. What happened? So said Nahum Ish Gamzo to his students, I want you to listen. I was walking on the way, and I had 3 donkeys, 3 חמורים. אחד מלא אוכל, אחד מלא שתייה, ואחד מלא מגדנות. One of the donkeys was full of food, one of them was in drinks, and one of them was all kinds of candies, whatever you want to call it. He said, and pagash oti ani, and a poor guy saw me, met me. And he said, Rabbi parneseni, Rabbi, I'm hungry, please. I want to eat. אמרתי לו, בוודאי מיד. I pulled myself out of my donkey, went all the way to the third one to give him something good to eat. By the time I unpacked the donkey and pulled out the food, I went to see him. The guy was Hazita, Bar Minnan, died. The poor guy died. אמר לחומש גמזו, ריבונו של עולם, עיניי שלא חסו על עיניו, my eyes that did not have enough mercy on his eyes, should be blind, should be blinded. ידיי שלא חסו על ידיו, ייגדעו. רגליי שלא חסו על רגליו, יקטעו. ולא נחתי עד שאמר, עד שנעשה כל בשרו שחין. What is the Homish Gamzo saying? He went all the way to bring this. The Homish Gamzo was teaching the world a powerful lesson. The Homish Gamzo telling people, somebody is in need, stop thinking. Act now. He said, Rabbi Parneseni, I didn't eat for a long time. Whatever you have, give him. Even if your calculation is to give him from the best, but it's a calculated kindness. Somebody gave you an opportunity. That's what godly is. But that was only Nahomish Gamzo. This is not people like us that can do this. But the idea is we have to understand, it's not because when we give we feel great, it's nice to give, it's a great environment in society. It is simply to understand that people are godly. And when you turn, when we shift from the animalistic being which can be extremely dangerous in the world, the only way to live life appropriately is to turn. And we have no idea how much we can affect people when we do it. I'm going to share with you a quick story that made an enormous impact in my life. It was about 6-7 years ago. I was walking in Manhattan, back on Thursday night, back from a seminar. I took a seminar in Manhattan, and I was walking back to my hotel. And I'm walking in Manhattan 1 a.m. Not a suggested thing to do. I'm going back to my Penn Hotel in Manhattan, 1 a.m., by myself. After a full day of seminar, very, very heavy information, and my mind is spinning and thinking. As I'm walking by myself, I hear some noise behind me. I turn back, and I see not too far from me, a homeless, an African-American homeless, chasing me. He's running after me. I do believe that years before that, if I would experience that experience, I would run away. Probably. To save my life. When I saw him chasing me, I stopped. I was waiting for him. When he came to me, he said, "Bro, do you have a buck? Do you have $1 on you?" I said, "No. I don't have $1. I have $20 in my pocket, and I will give them to you. I'm going to give you $20. But I have a condition." Crazy. I said, "I have a condition. I'll give you $20 with a condition." He said, "What do you need?" I said, "If you give me a hug, I'll give you $20. The guy looked at me as if I fell down the moon. He gave me a hug. I gave him the $20 and I said to him, do you know why I'm giving you $20? He said, I have no idea who you are. You're weird. That's what he said. I said to him, I'm giving you $20 because you are a godly soul in this world. And you are a gift to the universe. And I love you. I can fill up a glass of tears that this man started to cry. He said, man, no one ever in the planet looked at me as a human being. This is the first time I hear that I'm a human being. I cannot begin to tell you, I gave him $20, but I gained $20 million. People have a heart. People have a soul. People deserve to be treated as godly people. Every single human being. Yes, including our own spouses and our own children. People are godly creatures. Treat them as such with your own godly power. When we act with godly power, we grow, we develop ourselves. And this is what God means. Rabotai, speaking of appreciation, imagining to get any appreciation from anybody, think about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Does HaKadosh Baruch Hu kind to us? How do we treat him? How much do we appreciate Borei Olam? How in the world we can get all the blessings from HaKadosh Baruch Hu? He's giving us oxygen to breathe, and he tells us what to do, and to his face we do whatever in the world we want. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu would be a giver based on our appreciation, we're going to have Mabul on a weekly basis. On a weekly basis. So if HaKadosh Baruch Hu can be Rav Chesed, and that's what he requires from us, act on it. Do not act with kindness. Be kindness. Be the one who is acting in a legacy of God. Be God. Don't speak about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Don't speak about Emunah. Be the Emunah. Be God. Be kind. Be the one that can shift his life. That's our mission in life. In our mission in life, כי לא במותו ייקח הכל, לא ירד אחריו כבודו. No one with $25 billion in bank account could ever take anything with him. בשעת פטירתו של אדם אין מלווין אותו. לא כסף, ולא זהב, ולא אבנים טובות, nothing. What a person takes with him is mitzvot ומעשים טובים. This is the kind of work we need to do on a daily basis. Every single one of us, before we go to sleep every single night, Abotai, we should be brave enough, honest enough, vulnerable enough to ask ourselves, how many people did I help today? How many souls have I touched today? What goodness did I do to the world today? Abotai, if the answer is nothing, that day is a dead day. And there is only one thing worse than death: walking death. Living life and wasting every single day. Whereas my entire purpose, my entire intention, my entire focus is to be for myself. Every single night we need to do this Hishbon Nefesh. What have I done today to help somebody? Who did I call? Who did I call to give a better feelings? Or we really want to stay those kind of people today that when we hear that somebody is not well, we send them a WhatsApp text. That's what we do. Somebody's sick, is in a hospital. Feel better, 55 emojis. Love, love, love. That's so beautiful. God bless you, idiot. Get into your car, turn it on. Drive to the hospital, idiot. Park your car, pay for the parking. climb up the stairs or the elevator. Go visit the guy and give him a hug. Go care for him. That's kindness. Sleeping in the house and having coffee and cake and sending texting to people. This is how our life looks like today. That's the generation that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was not appreciated. Do not speak Hesed, do it. Go to Nike store and read their slogan. Just do it. Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised He will not bring Mabul again to the world, and we take His word seriously. But I think if we read Parashat Noach, and we'll learn Parashat Noach, and we don't shift to become creatures of Hesed, if we're not becoming godly power forces, human beings, we miss the point of Parashat Noach. Noach is not about a beautiful story about the ark and some water that destroyed the world. Noach is about, are we staying animals? Or we understand our power and become godly? That's the power of Hesed. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you.